Welcome to Hidden Hues, a podcast uncovering overlooked stories and inequities in underserved communities. I'm your host, Shamia, and this is episode 3, ACES and Protective Factors. Today we're exploring a framework that prevention specialists have used for decades to understand childhood adversity, ACEs, or adverse childhood experiences. But we'll also talk about something equally important, protective factors. Because while ACEs reveal risk, protective factors reveal hope. Let's imagine two children. Child A grows up in a home where there's shouting most nights, sometimes there's violence, money is always tight, and one of their parents struggles with substance use. Child B grows up in a home where there's also financial stress, but they have a grandmother who listens every day, a teacher who believes in them, a neighbor who checks in. Both children experience adversity, but child B has protective factors, relationships, support, a sense of belonging. These protective factors don't erase the adversity, but they change the outcome. In the 1990s, researchers Vincent Felitti and Robert Anda conducted the original ACE study. They asked adults about 10 categories of childhood adversity: abuse, which included emotional, physical, and sexual; neglect, which included emotional and physical; and household dysfunction, which included substance use, mental illness, incarceration, domestic violence, and divorce. The findings shocked even the researchers. Nearly 2/3 of participants had at least one ACE. The higher the ACE score, the greater the risk for substance use, depression, chronic illness, and even early death. It was a clear message. Childhood experiences shape lifelong health. But here's what the original ACEs study didn't capture well: poverty, racism, community violence, inequities in schools. These are adversities too, and in underserved populations, they stack up, which means many children start life with ACE scores already working against them. This is where prevention brings balance. Protective factors are the conditions that buffer against those risks. Things like a safe, stable, nurturing relationship with at least one caring adult, access to mental health care, supportive schools and communities, and opportunities to succeed. The more protective factors a child has, the more resilient they become, even in the face of multiple ACEs. I think of Maria, a young woman who grew up with 4 ACEs. Her father struggled with alcoholism, her mother struggled with substance use and battled depression, and money was always scarce. But Maria also had a coach who told her, "You are more than your circumstances." That protective factor didn't erase the adversity, but it gave her a different lens and the courage to apply for college. Today, Maria is a prevention specialist herself. She tells her story to show that ACEs are not destiny. So, what does that mean for prevention policy? It means schools that invest in social emotional learning are not just teaching soft skills, they're literally building protective factors. It means funding after school programs, mentorship, and family support services is not charity, it's prevention science. And it means we have to collect data, not just on ACEs, but also on protective factors. Because focusing only on adversity risks creating a deficit narrative. Communities are more than their trauma. Prevention is strongest when we measure both sides of the story, the scars and the strengths. If you're listening and you're a parent, know that even one caring, consistent adult can change a child's trajectory. If you're an educator, remember that encouragement is not extra, it's prevention. And if you're a policymaker, see prevention not as a cost, but as an investment in future health and safety. And if you live through adversity yourself, your survival is evidence of resilience. Sharing your story could be someone else's protective factor. This has been Hidden Hues. Today, we unpacked ACEs and protective factors, how childhood adversity shapes health, and how protective factors create resilience. Next time, we'll look at the school divide, the inequities in education that deepen those challenges. I'm Shamia. Thanks for listening and for being part of prevention.